Welcome to another episode of Video Game Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Owlboy on the Nintendo Switch. Now, this game is pretty famous in the underground or the indie scene. It's kind of what you would call an indie darling. People love it. So what is it, and what did I think of it? Well, the basic premise is this. You're an owl boy. You have no attack, but you can carry friends around in your claws. You can fly them around, and so your friends have the ability to attack. And you can switch between them on the fly, and sort of like a role-playing game. Members will leave your party, or join your party, or whatever, which will give you a different set of moves or attacks that you can use. They're actually not all attacks. There's at least one character, if I remember correctly, that has some skills and moves that help you with mobility and help you get through certain obstacles and things like that as well. So it's cool in theory. So let's start with the visuals and the audio. As you can see on screen right now, the art style, it feels pretty unique, and the animation is good. The game overall just looks great. It's very charming looking, which seems to be like the key ingredient to, or one of the most key ingredients to making an indie darling of a game. So that's present here. Also present is a really beautiful score, a beautiful soundtrack. Really, really impressive. And for me, at least, that concludes the highlights of this game. So let's dig into it a little bit more. It is not that interesting. The gameplay is just simply not that interesting. The combat feels... first of all, there really isn't that much combat at all, and what combat is here doesn't... It's okay, it's passable, it doesn't feel great. The control is, again, it's adequate, it doesn't feel amazing, and so you're like, okay, well, what sort of game is this? Great question. I've finished it. I still don't really have an answer for that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It just means that a game is unique, which is great if it works. And here it doesn't really for me. So we've talked about the controls, or I've briefly mentioned the controls and the combat, but what about puzzles? Because puzzles are definitely present here. Also not that satisfying. Yeah, dude, the puzzles present here were not... I didn't feel, amazing when I worked them out. And they weren't... So, they weren't challenging, they weren't rewarding, they weren't fun. I spent most of the game wondering when it was going to get good. Or in other words, when the gameplay was going to rise to the level of the presentation. And for me, in my opinion, and this is admittedly a pretty unusual opinion, people seem to like this game, but for me, the gameplay just never got anywhere close to the level of the presentation. And oh my God, okay, on to the next issue. There is a ton of text-based dialogue in this game, which is fine. I'm completely on board with that. If the characters are interesting, if the story is compelling, and for me, neither one of those is the case at all. So you have this game which has... meh combat, meh puzzles, and a meh story with meh characters. And again, if you're going to be sitting through this much dialogue, how did they put this much effort into this game? And I pretty much don't like any of the characters. So anyway, man, that's Owlboy. That's pretty much... I felt when I completed this game a couple of nights ago, I felt like, well, I was glad it was over. I didn't hate, despite what it may sound like, I didn't hate my experience. I just didn't like any of it. Or I didn't like most of it, I should say. And I was disappointed that it just, again, to reiterate, never rose to the level of the presentation. But I didn't hate it. I would say definitely, if you haven't played this game already and you are determined to play this, you feel like, no, this is definitely the game for you, wait for a sale, dude. At the very least, wait for a sale. But honestly, I recommend just bypassing this game altogether. But different strokes for different folks. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell button. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.